for the most part. So, hey, if you're brand new and I don't know you yet, my name is Nick Martinez. Really excited to have you here. We were talking with a handful of champs earlier today just about community, about events, and something came up about Keto Life Parties. And it's kind of one of those conversations that is interesting because if you're new within the last year, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm doing a Keto Life Party, and they're doing something on Facebook or they're doing a Zoom. And if you've been around for more than a year, you're like, oh, Keto Life Party, that's where you have people at your house. That's where you shake up ketones. That's like where you get to be belly to belly with people and have fun. So we had just put out this morning a concept of an international Keto Life Party. And we want to talk about what that is, how that works, what that looks like, and really go through how if you utilize this as a tool to grow your business, if you utilize this as a tool to create community and have some fun, you're going to find that it is, number one, it creates an environment that just allows you to be around people and impact people and really hear other stories and hear what they're looking for. And then number two, it creates an environment for you to share ketones and really just start to educate and inspire others to become a better version of themselves. And then number three, it really builds the glue that keeps our community together. Because as much as I like seeing all your faces on Zoom, it's way more fun to be in person, to hang out and just to connect. So tonight I have somebody on that's going to share with you just a little bit of her journey and her experience. And Katrina, who you'll get to meet in a second here, she literally ran from starting this business to having a very, very large rank 8 business, almost exclusively around just getting together in living rooms of people's houses and shaking up different flavors and talking about ketones. So as I was putting this together and I reached out, Katrina said, hey, I'd be happy to share. I'm like, oh, you're the perfect person to talk about Keto Life Parties because you've actually done this. So pre-COVID, I just want you guys to think about this. Pre-COVID, our launch sequence for a brand new promoter, if you're brand new, step number one wasn't necessarily let's put a post up on Facebook. Step number one was, hey, when do you want to have like your favorite people over to your house to shake up some ketones and let them try them? Like that was it. So we want to get back into that. And we thought the best way to do it would be to do it community wide, our whole entire organization wide at the same time, to really just have some fun and bring this virtual environment into people's living rooms. And, people are so used to Zoom and used to doing this, but now combining that with being in person, I think is going to be really magical. So Katrina, what's happening? Maybe just share a little bit of your story, because I know a lot of people on here don't know you yet. And then share how impactful Keto Life Parties have been for your business.
Okay. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Thanks for having me on. Hi, everybody. I'm Katrina Nikes. I'm coming to you from San Diego. I'll also share the very short version of my story real quick. I've been working this business for about almost 4.5 years. And I got started kind of unexpectedly. I got my hands on some trials from Michael Rutherford, and I had a friend in Kentucky that I saw sharing on Facebook about ketones, but she happened to connect me, right? We all use that connect step with Michael, who lives right here local to me. And he zoomed across town, got me some trials, and I kind of didn't know what to expect, but I shook them up and tried them and started to talk about them with some friends. And without really trying, because we didn't have the structure we have now, but without trying, I kind of rolled through the steps of, sharing the campfire video, right? And getting people connected, and also having some in-person experiences, getting trials out into my market, getting some friends to experience ketones, invite a couple of their friends together. Right before I knew it, I had a lot of conversations going, and that is how I launched my business. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that, right? It's conversations, and ultimately we're in a relationship business, right? It's all about relationships. It's who are you talking to? And I'm such a face-to-face person. So COVID was hard for me. Raise your hand if COVID was a little hard, right? Like if you're that relationship-focused person who loves to be with other people, I'm feeling like my heart is lifting so much as all of these guidelines and restrictions are also lifting a little bit. And that joy is coming back of getting together with people. And so I think I want a precedent as far as Keto Life Parties go, you guys. I want to take away the, oh, I'm so scared, I don't know if I could do that part. for you and help you realize the way I launched my business with Keto Life Parties was literally, you guys, like maybe 2 or 3 people, 5 people maybe, in living rooms or at coffee shops, or moms meeting up at the park with their kids casually, very casually. So I had this kind of lofty projection in my mind of what a keto event should look like that I would host, and I built myself up to think that I should have this huge event with 100 people there. And I found it really quick that doesn't always happen, right? Our expectations for ourselves sometimes are like way up here, and we can stop ourselves from doing really big things in small little pockets of time. And so what I want to tell you guys is you can be so successful in this business with one conversation at a time. And if you can gather 2 to 3 to 5 people together to just have this conversation, the energy level goes from like right about here to way up through the roof, right? How many of you guys feel that way? When you're talking and engaging with a couple of friends versus just one-on-one with someone, the energy level around the conversation elevates, right? We get more excited. Oh, what experience are you having? Oh my gosh, you're down 5 pounds. Wow, I have like 0 appetite. I feel like I have steel will, right? And that contagious energy, it attracts more people into what we're doing. And so that's why Keto Life Parties are so fun, you guys, because it energizes your business. So if you felt like you've been in a slump of like, oh my gosh, I've been reaching out, one-on-one conversations a lot, right, for the last year, this is your chance. I mean, seriously, I'm so excited about this because when you get a few people together, and just right now, you can literally think about who do you want to text that would come over next Thursday, right? That would come jump in your living room on your couch with you and just zoom into a big virtual Keto Life party. But the impact that can have, of so many people virtually just getting together in little small groups, it's so energizing. So I didn't mean to take over and kind of take over what we were going to talk about, Nick, but I'm just really pumped.
I mean, you're on fire. I love it. I love it. It isn't complicated. And I'm just going to put out there kind of what we're doing and what the structure of this will look like for this week. But before I go into that, I want you to realize exactly what Katrina just said. You can do this at any time. You don't need us to say, hey, this is the date. It's not like we're ordaining this special date we're making it special because it's the International Worldwide Keto Life Party. It's going to be amazing. However, if you can't do it next Thursday, I have people say, Nick, I can't do it next Thursday. When are you doing it again? And I turned it around and I said, well, actually, tell me this. When can you have a couple people over at your house? I'll zoom in anyways, and we could do a Keto Life Party there. So I don't want you to not focus on next week because I believe this community could have over 100 Keto Life Parties going on at the same time. I want you to think of your newest promoter, or maybe you're brand new, and everybody's scheduling their own. It isn't me trying to call all of the promoters in Minneapolis to get them over to my house. It's, hey, let's get 5 different parties going on in the Twin Cities, or 10 or 15 or 20 or whatever that number is, where they're each inviting 3, 4, 5 friends to come over to shake up a handful of flavors of ketones, or maybe some of these new ones that sold out very quickly today, and experience what we're talking about, and then be able to hear from somebody that's in virtual land and hear stories, right? So imagine, like right now we have 61 people on. If there's 60 parties going on, that means there could be, I don't know, 300-400 people watching this at the same time, and you're going to hear story. I'll share information about how the product works, what it does. We'll give the information for your guests, and then at the end, it's just, hey, get back with the person you're sitting there with, tell them to get you some ketones, and let's go have some fun. So it's super, super casual. Tell me, Katrina, as far as, let's say, like, what does somebody have to have at their house in order to do this? Do they have to have a nice, like, big house to have people in? Do they have to, like, go through a bunch of stuff? Do they have to have a ton of food? What's the requirement in order to host one of these?
I've seen everything, Nick. Honestly, we have a big team now. And so I've seen so many different types of people come into our business and like they have their idea of what they want to do with their first Keto Life party. And it's perfect. So I think the big picture is you do you. So if you're that person, Jody Shivy's on this call, she's Italian, she likes to serve food. If people come over, she's got food out. She was like not planning on having food, but she just gets out all the food anyway, because that's just who she is. She's very hospitable in that way. However, if you were to show up at my house at 4:30, I probably would have like limited snacks available because I'm just not that organized. So I'm not going to stress over those details. I'm going to have water and I'm going to have some ice. I'm going to have some little cups so you can taste the flavors. I'm going to make it about the ketones, right? So even if you just have 2 or 3 flavors, you can have a keto life party. So don't overcomplicate it and don't go spend $100 on supplies. Like, make it simple and really just make it about the togetherness factor, I guess, is that a word, of getting a few friends together, having some conversations, letting them taste and experience ketones. If anything, maybe have some trial packs bundled up, right? I like to do that so that people go home with ketones. So you can make those cute if you want to, with a little ribbon or a little cute baggie, or you could just hand them the packets. Be like, take these home, shake it up, drink it tomorrow morning and text me. So be equipped with ketones. And that's the bottom line. But if you want to have food, do it. If you want to have, fancy decorations, fine, have fun with it. Do it your way. But yeah, I don't think those things are a requirement by any means, Nick.
I love it. I mean, the reality is, if you keep it simple, other people will think they can do it too. Right. And I've been to some that are so extravagant that I leave there feeling like, oh gosh, I don't know if I want to have one of these at my house because it won't be this way. Right. So if you can keep it simple, people will realize, oh, I could do this too. It didn't cost them $100. It didn't take a bunch of time. They just invited friends over. So the next question is, like, who do you invite and how do you invite them? And this is one of those things that is like, it's important. But it's important not to overcomplicate and overthink. So Katrina, tell me a little bit about, like, if you're having a party next week, Thursday, how are you inviting to it? How do you invite to the party?
Okay, so like Nick said, you guys, it's just don't overthink it, because I've already been texting to invite to next Thursday's event, and I just keep it so casual. I think, talk as if you're yourself. But I'll read a text message that I sent. I said, hey, Jenna, what are you doing next Thursday night? Are you busy? Okay, so start with something like that. Are you busy next Thursday? Right? And then if they answer and engage with you, I don't know what you got going on. I'm going to ask them, hey, I'd love for you to do a keto life party with me. You got a couple friends you want to grab, and let's do this thing. It'll be so fun. I know you're loving your ketones. This friend Jenna of mine, she's lost 10 pounds. She's excited about ketones. So think of those customers maybe that you know, or those that you have on a 10-day challenge, right? Or on an experience, or maybe even promoters on your team that are local to you. Give them a text message. What you doing next Thursday? Let's do a keto life party. Let's grab a couple of friends and do this thing together. I mean, I wouldn't overcomplicate it.
I mean, I love you said exactly what I say. And it's just, what are you up to on Thursday night? If you were going to invite people to your house, how would you invite them? You probably wouldn't go into some dissertation on what you're going to be doing. You'd probably just say, what are you doing next Thursday night at 7:30 p.m.? They would say, I don't know. Why? I'm having a keto life party. It's going to be amazing. You'd probably tell them how great it's going to be. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to be sampling these different flavors of ketones. We're going to having this worldwide thing. It's going to be amazing. Can you come? That's it. If they ask more questions, say, hey, all of that will be answered when you come. It's going to be super fun. Let's get together. And at the end of the day, the goal is just to invite. Now, I want you guys to understand the true power behind, and I see, Kathy, your question. I'll go through kind of the specifics of the party in a second here, but the power of this whole process, the power of scheduling an event and inviting to it goes way beyond just the party. You guys ready for this? The whole reason, not maybe the whole reason, but a huge part of why parties work is because it forces us to have conversations. Think about this. If I don't have a party and I don't have anything to invite to, how many friends am I going to call today or message today about ketones? Maybe 2, maybe 3, Maybe if you're really charging forward, maybe you're doing a lot, but chances are just a couple. And you're probably not just reaching out to your phone. You're waiting for people to comment on your shirt. You're waiting for people to comment on your post. But if you schedule a party next week, now all of a sudden you have an excuse. You have a reason to go through your phone and invite everybody you possibly can. And when you invite them, you're not selling them. You're just inviting them to come to your house. It doesn't matter if they say yes or no, right? There shouldn't be a lot of energy or fear around that. But guess what you just did? Even if you're inviting a friend that lives 2 hours away, you know they're not going to be able to come, invite them anyways. What are you doing Thursday? Can you drive down to my house? I know it's 2 hours, but it's going to be fun. No, Nick, I just can't. But what are you doing? Oh, we're having this Keto Life Party. Hey, you know, I can probably send you some information on it if you want. You've created a conversation. And now if they're not able to come, you can follow up with them. Hey, this is going to be super awesome. If I'm able to actually get a recording of the cool like virtual part of it that we're doing, would you want to check it out? I think you'll love it. Now you have a reason to start that conversation. It's going to turn into that. Well, what are you doing? What are you guys shaking up? Tell me more about this. Well, hey, for anybody that's not going to be able to be here, I'm doing a bunch of keto drive-bys where I'm shaking up some ketones and bringing people samples. You know, would you want to learn more about that? Now you've started a conversation. So if you make your list of people to invite to your party as large as possible, guess what? You're having conversations without having to have an excuse. Your excuse is the actual party. So any thoughts on that, Katrina?
I love everything you said, Nick. It's absolutely true. It's about creating those conversations and not being attached to the outcome too. Just getting those invitations out. And I would say the more people you invite, the better, because I don't know about you, Nick, but when I send out invitations, there's almost always people have stuff going on, right? You're going to get some no's. You have to expect that. People are going to be busy. It's only a week in advance, but it's still worth inviting them because the more people you invite, the more yeses you're going to get, right? So just a very short story here, you guys. My first event that I personally hosted, I literally thought I was going to have 100 people there. I rented 100 chairs, okay? I rented a barn, a space that was used as a wedding venue. I was crazy like that. I thought these are all going to be full. And I busted my tail. I invited probably 250 people. You guys, it's percentages. I didn't have that many friends. Didn't have that many friends on Facebook. Didn't have that many friends in general. I was just banking on everybody saying yes. You know what I mean? And what happened was I had about 35 people show up. I was super bummed, you guys. I was really bummed. I was like, this is crazy. I can't believe there's so many empty chairs. I felt like I was a loser. But here's the big picture is out of those 35 people, it was literally everyone became either a customer or a promoter. Everyone. And the stories that were shared there that day were so impactful. It meant so much to every single person that was there. The right people were there. And so although I set this big vision for myself that it was going to be 100 people, there wasn't going to be an empty seat. And I was like somehow disappointed with myself. It's crazy. Don't be crazy like that. I'm telling you this so you can then be happy with yourself. The next several events we had in a row, like other people's houses, just super casual in living rooms, those intimate conversations were so powerful, you guys. And so if there's 3 or 5 or 8 people there in the room, don't discount that and think that that's not powerful. I can remember a very specific event that we had with a team here in East County. And the girl who invited was super shy. She was like, I can't do this. I'm like, just get a couple friends over. It could be your mom, it could be your neighbor. Like, who's your best friend? Just have them come over. Everyone that night signed up. She only had a few people come. She was shy. I did all the talking. In this scenario, guys, Nick's going to do most of the talking. So thanks, Nick. Woohoo! Right? You take that pressure off of yourself. Let Nick do some of the work for you. Can we get an amen? Right? Not only that, but you're going to get that third-party validation, right? So we got Keto Dad. He's on our team, you guys. It's amazing.
I love it. And Jody just put in the chat, first Keto Life Party, 1 person showed up. She's still a customer. Donna invited 31 showed up. So again, it goes back to the fact that it's not about the numbers. It's just about the activity.
It is.
And then using that as a momentum driver in your business. So let's see, another question I saw. If you guys have questions, please type them in. Thank you, Angie. Should we post or personally invite? I would personally invite all day long. That's gonna, like, if you put up a post, hey, I'm having people just don't understand what it is. I would post, feeling amazing, can't wait for this party I'm hosting next week. and then just create curiosity. People are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, I'll message you. It's going to be awesome. Maybe you can come. But create curiosity if you want to use Facebook or Instagram or posting, but I wouldn't just like post the details and say who can come, because that's pushing people away rather than drawing people in. But really great question. So yes, a teaser post. Kathy, as far as the actual event, what I would have is ketones, shaker bottles, and anything else that you like, right? Inside of Better Starts Here 2021, we have a lot of great resources and printouts. If some of those you enjoy handing to people, we got like things for trial packs, print them out and have them out. There's no right or wrong. Don't think that you have to have that. Honestly, if it were me, I just have ketones out and we're shaking up flavors, and they have questions. I'm like, here, watch this video on my phone. Here, let me send you the challenge.com website so that you can get some more details. And then I'm connecting them to another resource. Or in this situation, because we'll be on a Zoom, you'll be able to like, oh, that's a great question. Save that one. That's a great question. Save that one. And then when we go to questions, it's going to be amazing because all of you are going to have all these great questions you can just type in the chat. It's going to be the most educational, powerful experience out there. So let's see. So basically from this Zoom, here's the steps. Step number 1 is commit to host a party, right? And I can't determine your calendar. If you can make it happen, make it happen. If you can't make it happen, if you got stuff going on, no problem. Here's my encouragement to you. Schedule it at a different time. Don't let that whatever you have going on impede you from actually doing this. Okay. So if you can't do it on Thursday night, my question to you is, what night can you do it? Get with your support team, your sponsor, whoever you're working with, and just say, hey, can you support me on this? If they can come live, that's amazing. If they can come in virtually, awesome. Right. And then the time frame. The live Zoom is going to be at 7:30 Central, 8:30 on the East Coast, 5:30 on the West Coast. I know the times are a little bit wonky, but if you're on the West Coast, you can probably have people show up either at 4:45, 5 o'clock, 5:15, somewhere in that range, knowing that we're starting at 5:30. And knowing you'll probably go a little bit longer after that Zoom because you didn't have a lot of time beforehand. If you're on the East Coast, the Zoom's not going to start till 8:30, so it's a little bit late. I understand that, but you guys stay up late anyways, right? But you might have people show up earlier knowing that after that Zoom, they're probably going to bounce, right? After the Zoom, it's going to be 9 o'clock. They're probably be like, I'm out of here. But if you have everybody over at 7:30, well, shoot, you have a whole hour to connect with people and sample and hang out. And now you're just kind of waiting for the Zoom to start at 8:30. If you're Mountain Time or Central Time, just figure it out. Know that we'll be doing that Zoom and ready to rock at that 7:30 Central Standard Time. So plan your party accordingly. Next thing is make the list of people that you're going to invite to. And then from there, it's just start to invite and use the simple language that Katrina gave you a few minutes ago. So if you have other questions, type them in the chat. Otherwise, Katrina, any final thoughts around this whole concept?
One last thing I would say is, take pictures. Take pictures when you have an event. When you have a couple friends together, make sure you're taking some pictures and putting those out on social. Put them to your story that day. Make a post about the impact this community has made on your life and how much you love it, because people are looking for that, like, I think more than ever. So it's a very attractive part of what we do, right? Creating community. So pictures, lots of them. That's all I wanted to add.
Awesome. So I want you guys to think of this, like, think of the vision here, because because of COVID, we had this whole year where no one got together. And so we're in this weird la la land. And then we started to do things via Zoom. Everybody gets comfortable with Zoom. Now we've been doing watch parties with Prove It events, and those have been a lot of fun. I want you to think of this with this style of business. Now that we all have this ability to be virtual, but yet also be in person, there's some magic that can happen here. And this is the first of, I would say, many worldwide Keto Life Parties that we'll be doing as a team. And right now, I mean, there's 60 people on here. If you're going to do a party, type in the chat, I'm doing one or I'm hosting one. And then think, do you have anybody on your team? Do you have any promoters that you're working with who you think could host a party? If you have a couple, type, I've got 2 or I've got 3 or I've got 5. How many is that? Because I believe in our community, we could have 100+ Keto Life Parties happening at the same time, all coming into this Zoom. And Katrina mentioned earlier, just the energy. if you're alone, you have a little bit of energy on the Zoom, but if you're with 5 or 10 people or even 3 people, there's like this tremendous energy. Now, if there's a Zoom screen that has living rooms all over the country, everybody that's there as a guest, like, holy smokes, look at all these people drinking ketones, doing what we're doing here. This is cool. And guess what? We can parlay that into a following week and another day where some of those people that are in your living room will say, hey, I'll host one of these and start getting my ketones for free. I'd love to invite my mom, my dad, my sister over. And guess what that turns into? It turns it 100 into 200 into 500 into 1,000. And before you know it, your team went from you and a couple promoters to an entire city, right? And it's happening right now. It's happening for a lot of teams that are doing in-person stuff. And I'm really excited to not just do the in-person stuff, but to also combine what we've learned through the last year with what we've learned through the previous 5. So if you guys need anything and have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be posting more about this in the Facebook group, so be sure to check on details and be sure to check your pulse between now and then. And thanks for being on, Katrina. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for being here with me.
Of course.
Good to see you all. Have a great night. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.